I wanted to watch this. So we talked about killing Raszageth. Killing Raszageth? Well, who is after Raszageth? We're going to talk a little bit about it. We've heard a little bit about him. Iridikron in particular. Let's see what Iridikron's all about. Why we should be afraid about his dick waking up and coming into the world or coming on the world. Whatever you want to call it. Let's see a little bit of lore here, and then we're getting straight into the raid.
As you guys can probably see, we had defeated Raszageth, and she managed to ultimately and completely expectedly free the remaining primal incarnates. Among them, they had freed the big bad guy Iridikron, who apparently dabbled in some really terrible...
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm spoiling the cinematic for myself. I have not seen the cutscene yet when you kill Raszageth.
Really bad stuff
but
in
I'm
the
sure
past,
Iridikron gets
whose
released.
connection to Earth is so strong that he's going to be hiding for a really long time. Now, we have the Old God Whisperer. From Earth he draws strength, our Earth, our strength. We have the K-Magic, the same one that created Galakrond, present all throughout the Dragon Isles, and we also have the mention of Alexstrasza's undead brother. To combine that, Iridikron is planning to do something really crazy, and yeah, let's connect a few dots and see what could be happening with the current hints available.
There you go. I don't think he has a hole in his chest. I think it's just some lava. It's just a design choice. This isn't the jailer.
If you guys want more internet freedom, check out Atlas VPN, this video sponsor that currently has the best deal on the entire market, as you can get it for just $1.7 a month.
So
with
many
a
VPN
30-day money back
marketers,
guarantee,
man.
with my link in the description.
All these VPN sites really do pay a shit ton, I guess, for advertising. He's heartless. You everyone ready to go A to bait real quick? Yes. That's right. That's what's gonna happen.
Furthermore, you can unlock your favorite content to websites.
Honored
like
to be a
Netflix,
member of the Scourge. Thank you, Mag.
And you can even get best deals
Honored
while
to have you
shopping
here.
online and keep your Google searches private. Best of all, with a single subscription, you can protect all of your devices. So make sure that you have a private Christmas and a safe New Year with Atlas VPN. You can
Achilles,
get
you're home, so you're gonna sign up.
$1.7 per
Nice.
month plus 6 months free with a 30-day money-back guarantee.
I saw someone ask how cold it is in Michigan. It's 23 degrees right now, and we're supposed to get a blizzard on Friday. Most likely, Rudy won't have school on Friday, the day before break. What a great childhood memory that'll be for him.
Iridikron is actually a brand new villain and something that Blizzard just recently came up with. At the moment, the entire lore about what happened around that time of the Dawn of the Aspects is super vague, so we don't really know, as in, we don't really have any facts on how this massive war had actually played out. However, we do sort of have an outline that we can base information on. The Titans decided to enhance, as they would call it, or better yet, they decided to turn proto-dragons to their side. Now, dragons by nature seem to be elemental, as you can see with these primal incarnates, and unbeknownst...
Technically, the primal incarnate shit, that's the natural form of these dragons, really. That's the natural, like, power level, highest power level form of a dragon. The shit that Alexstrasza and the rest of them, you know, they drank that Titan piss. They are an unnatural form. They are like a corrupted form in the Proto-Drake eyes.
To us, since the aspects hit as well, quite a few dragons actually rebelled against this Titan order. They didn't want to join the Titans, and they saw the aspects as selling out their people to this foreign invaders. Steve the User actually said in an interview that the Primalists actually weren't villains at the start. They had a pretty decent point, but over time they had committed so many terrible things that they essentially became the bad guys that we have today. So the point of all the info is that Iridikron, the primal incarnate of Earth, essentially the polar opposite to Neltharion, did something really bad. This seems to have started out as a civil war between the dragon factions.
I didn't realize that. He would be the primal incarnate version of Neltharion, aka Deathwing. Damn, so that he is the Earth Warden, basically, but the incarnate version.
The Primalist apparently
drank the old god piss. Yeah, we did.
So Iridikron, in a terrible act of desperation, made a pact with someone, more than likely the old gods, and he unleashed terrible things upon the entire dragon kind, but potentially the whole of Azeroth. Apparently, even the other incarnates didn't know the extent to what he had done, and would have probably abandoned him had they known, which to me almost certainly points out that he probably made a pact with the Black Empire in order to restore them and get rid of the Titans, or he had something to do with the K-Magic and Galakrond. But let's unravel some of this information, as we actually do have some really interesting possibilities, as well as brand new stuff straight out from the game. So, as you may have seen at the end of the first raid, the Vault of the Incarnates, we defeated Raszageth, but she completely expectedly managed to...
Not yet, but we will.
Vironot, Firak, and most importantly, Iridikron. Now, as you may have noticed, an interesting
Yeah, when you're in the boss fight room, you can see those dragons inside of the little prisons hanging above the boss fight room. If you look up,
first two seem to
very
be worried
cool.
mainly about their sister Razaget, being shocked that she's dead and swearing to avenge her, but Iridikron just straight out didn't even care. He just came out and he was like, all who oppose us will perish. I don't care about Razaget, I just want to get all of you. Initially, Alistraza mentioned she didn't kill the Incarnates because they used to be family, so it's likely that the other Incarnates weren't necessarily the bad guys. It could have really just been Iridikron that is the actual villain. Then we got the other updated cinematic with Alistraza, where she gives us more information about Iridikron and really makes this matter super interesting. Apparently, the 3 remaining Incarnates are not just going to, goof around and just attack us straight out so we can eliminate them easily, but they're going to build a master plan, and Iridikron, as an Incarnate of Earth, knows just how to hide so that no one can find him, and they're going to unleash something super big and unexpected. This, of course, leads us to the topic of this video, and a really popular theory that this could just be the actual resurrection of none other than the monster himself, Galakrond. So here is all the current proof that we currently have. We don't really know the timeline of this ancient war, but we know that this entire Galakrond thing happened prior to the war, as the Primalists are said to be followers of Galakrond and his ideals. So we can see going this way. Galakrond corrupted the waters, Galakrond became a monstrosity, then some of the dragons defeated him and were in turn turned into aspects. Titans realized that the proto-dragons seemed to be useful, and they realized they could use them as a weapon, so in turn they corrupted the waters themselves so they can get them to their side. In a position to this was—
It's fucked up when you think about it, what the Titans did. And why these proto-incarnates or whatever are angry. I mean, just imagine it. Imagine these fucking alien star creatures came down and corrupted a few humans, right? And had them drink some shit. And they liked the way it turned out, so they decided to poison our water. And now everybody who drank the water is like super powered up. And then you have the regular humans who decided not to drink it. And what did we do to those regular humans for not drinking? We told them you have to drink or you're going to jail. And when they didn't drink, they went to jail. That's kind of fucked. I mean, you understand why these incarnates are angry.
Created in the form of primal incarnates that were the opposite to the aspects, and a massive
feels a bit like the orc story. Now, if you ever look at WoW stories in general, there is a repeating theme a lot of times. There's a lot of purging, there's a lot of drinking, and these same themes seem to repeat themselves. The jailer shit, it was an off branch and it was shitty and it was fucked. Everything else, it's like gain power, get corrupted, purge, and die. That's the cycle of WoW.
The most interesting fact, and that is that as they were losing the war, Iridikron used the forbidden weapon and more than likely turned to the only thing that ever proved a threat to the Titans, and that is Galakrond, or more than likely the forces that created Galakrond, and that is the Old Gods. As you know, the Black Empire Titan War, this ancient war, was a pretty close and probably the largest conflict ever on Azeroth. Iridikron at the time was essentially the exact opposite, or exact parallel to Deathwing or Neltharion. Neltharion really was just a Titan version of Iridikron. Both of them were super tied to the Earth, and you can kind of guess who is under the Earth. Obviously, the Old Gods. We know for a fact that Neltharion was just straight out corrupted by Old God Whisperers from the Earth during the Sundering, but we can also recently learn that this corruption happened 10,000 years earlier during the Draktyr conflict, and now this whole new information can completely make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he was corrupted a while ago. Neltharion really held his own. He held that corruption in check for a long time before he eventually became Deathwing and just succumbed to the corruption.
What actually happened in that video? The Titan Dragons were more than likely winning the war. The Primalists in the form of Iridikron turned to Old God powers. Neltharion realized, I'm an aspect of Earth myself. I can do the exact same thing, so he turned to Old God powers against the Primalists, and this was probably like a Iridikron Deathwing, like an inside secret. So Neltharion hid this from the aspects, and Iridikron hid this from the Primal Incarnates, but they were both kind of dabbling in the same magic. This brings us to that famous quote that is always attributed to Deathwing, but more than likely this is actually attributed to both Deathwing and Iridikron. From the Earth he draws strength. our Earth, our strength. Of course, none of this is actually concrete information, but if we conclude that Iridikron could have done the same thing and collaborated with the old gods, what is that he could have done during this supposed collaboration? Well, my opinion is...
Remember, we read old god lines yesterday, some of the new ones in the game, and there is a ton of good stuff in there. If you haven't seen that already, you could check it out on the YouTube. It's going live today. By the way, thank you so much. 400 subs now on the YouTube we passed. That's crazy. But if you haven't checked it out already, check it out. The old god lines are very interesting, and it seems like it's inevitable that we are going to see some old god shit going down this expansion.
Is that more than likely it was something related to Galakrond. He may have attempted to resurrect him with the help of old god powers, or he may have attempted to use the same decay energy to create a similar problem for the Titans and their minions. This actually goes in line with what Alexstrasza said in the introduction cinematic, and that is that she was essentially scared of Iridikron and his supposed hunger. As you may know, Galakrond also had a massive hunger, which was created through old god magic, as we
the unending hunger.
So it is possible that he created a new type of hunger, or he tried to turn himself into Galakrond 2.0. Seeing that all that stuff failed, that brings us to the current events, and that is that now we are left with 3 escaped primal incarnates that are going to try to do something really terrible. Through Iridikron's power, they are hiding deep underground, and it will be near impossible to track them, and that leads us to the first hint, and one of the most well-known ones. As you can probably heard by this point, it was said that 10.1 is supposed to have something to do with the underground, and this will most likely be that. We had data mine files months before Dragonflight was even released, so we really knew about this 10.1.
We talked about these. Underground shit could be part of a patch. Going underground, under the Dragon Isles, there could be a ton of shit down there that leads to a big patch zone for us.
Underground. However, could Iridikron, now desperate more than ever, decide to do something super crazy? Could he potentially find a way to get to Northrend and actually just be a madman and resurrect Galakrond and reconstruct the biggest threat to Azeroth ever? Personally, while it would be super interesting, I don't think it is highly likely, as Galakrond's bones are pretty well guarded. They're not like beneath the ground. I mean, you can literally just go to Dragonflight, you can find them. So realistically, it would be pretty easy to stop him to do this. What I do think is a lot more likely is that he could create a brand new Galakrond, a new one that learned on Galakrond's mistakes, that is going to be more powerful than anything ever before. 2.0. There are actual hints in the game that can prove this. If you guys have quested throughout the Dragon Isles, you may have noticed these rotting gnolls, as they have somehow stumbled upon decay magic, which is actually close to Earth as an element on the cosmological chart. This decay magic also seemingly corrupted ley lines, and ley lines are like the main source of arcane, which is just straight out Titan magic. It is really not hard to connect 2 and 2 together and to notice that someone is using decay to corrupt Titan sources of magic to weaken Titan influence, and I'm guessing the entire Gnoll storyline is they probably just stumbled upon this and they were just collateral damage. Like, Gnolls are really not important in the big picture. There have actually been multiple old god hints all over the Dragon Isles, with back in time whispers, with the fact that Galakrond is still alive in Northrend, and things may actually be falling into place, and Iridikron could really be the match that is going to start the entire old god fire. Another really interesting theory is a bit less known one.
I would love if things took a turn into some old god stuff. Like I said, after BFA, we were a little bit like, you know, let's take a break from the old gods, but I want to come back. I want to come back to the old gods. And N'Zoth, imagine N'Zoth makes a comeback. Imagine that everything he is, we know he is the biggest planner, the biggest corrupter, the smartest of the old gods. Not the strongest, but the smartest. Imagine he outsmarted us. Imagine he didn't die. I think that redemption arc would be great for N'Zoth.
That is in regards to Dralad. If you guys didn't know, Alexstrasza and Ysera are sisters, and all the way back thousands and thousands of years ago during Galakrond's reign, they had a brother by the name of Dralad, who was an orange proto-dragon. Well, Dralad fell victim to Galakrond, and he actually turned into one of these unliving, the first ever undead on Azeroth, those corrupted by decay magic. His body had seemingly gone missing, no one knows where it is, but seeing that the aspects didn't have the heart to kill the primal incarnates that they fought against, I'm guessing Alexstrasza also couldn't just get rid of her brother, and she might have hid him somewhere deep below ground. So there is a possibility that Drellad could be turned into a weapon, or maybe used by Iridikron, or used as a source to create a new Galakrond. I'm not actually just, digging some obscure information from one of the aspects in the game. In an actual questing campaign, you can go into Tyr's Vault, and there is information in regards to all the current dragon aspects. In particular, in regards to Alexstrasza, Drellad is actually mentioned, and that is that her and Ysera had a brother that fell victim to this unliving curse. This, of course, could just be a random hint, but it could also be a huge foreshadowing for what is to come in the future. Seeing that Ysera returned from the afterlife and there is that entire Shadowlands connection, something could definitely be happening.
Please no Shadowlands
regardless, though, Iridikron is going to do something quite big in the very near future, and personally, I think this is going to be highly related to Galakrond and the Old Gods. Furthermore, seeing that they had set up Deathwing using Old God powers back in the day through that animated series, I'm guessing we're also going to learn a lot more information about Deathwing, and there might even be a connection between Neltharion and Iridikron that we had never known about. Thank you for watching. Check out Alexstrasza's undead brother and who he actually is by clicking on the screen, and check out the Non's Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.
Neltharion, man, Neltharion's a Chad. He's got a Chad jaw. Neltharion was a badass, honestly. It seems like being an Earth Warden. Look at that Chad jawline. Look at that shit. It seems like being an Earth Warden is it gives you a lot of power. Right? So it makes sense that the Proto-Drake version, or the incarnate version of Neltharion, would be the strongest of the incarnates. Remember, Raszageth is told, it's told from the beginning that Raszageth is one of the weakest of the incarnates. So that's interesting. We'll see now, bringing along, this whole storyline with the Earth and all that shit, and then sneaking the Old Gods back in there, because we know what lies deep beneath the surface. Old Gods. Old Gods do. So it'd be very interesting. I totally agree with what Sinful said. Ny'alotha could have been a zone, and it would have been a very cool zone. I do wish that. The only thing is that the whole depression zone, right? That was Shadowlands. I don't want to see anything like that in the game anytime soon, because that shit just got old real quick. The whole dungeony looking shit. But to be fair, Ny'alotha doesn't look like a dungeon. Ny'alotha, in lore, and we got to see a little bit of it in the raid in BFA. It's a very cool art style. It's dark and purple, yes, but it's got a lot of spires and eyes and all kinds of shit and whispers in the background. I would like to see Ny'alotha as its own. I would love to see that one day. Whether we go that way or not, we'll see. We'll see. Not Overwatch time, no. It is Pug Raid time. It is Pug Raid time. I'm going to go ahead and post the queue up for you guys, and let's get into it. We got a full raid to clear today. We got a full fucking raid to clear. Let's go. I'm going to post the queue. You guys can queue up. Let's do it. 1 hour Asmon intro. Come on.